Welcome to this explainer. We're going to dive right into a text today that, while literally thousands of years old, surprisingly holds the keys to some of the absolute toughest mental battles we're facing right now. Let's unpack the Bhagavad Gita.
Imagine standing at the edge of the greatest war mankind has ever known. I mean, millions of warriors, arrows drawn, the drums of death just pounding. Now imagine that right in the middle of that deafening silence, right before the clash, one man, literally the greatest, most undefeatable warrior of his time, completely breaks down. That man is Arjuna.
Section 1. The Crisis at Kurukshetra. We're looking at a massive ancient war between two families. And right as it begins, this great warrior Arjuna drops his bow, completely unable to fight his own blood.
700. Right in that moment of absolute paralyzing despair, Arjuna's charioteer, Lord Krishna, delivers exactly 700 verses. It's a divine conversation between a broken man and the eternal God that, no joke, changes human civilization forever.
Section 2. The Song of God, an 18-chapter epic written in ancient Sanskrit.
Now, the global footprint of a text, originally spoken on a dusty battlefield, is just staggering. It was written over 5,000 years ago, historically recorded by the sage Vyasa. And get this, it was actually spoken to the blind King Dhritarashtra by Sanjay, who was granted special divine vision to see and hear every single word happening on that battlefield. Today, it's actively read in 175 countries and translated into over 80 languages. That scale is just massive.
And it's not just a text for spiritual seekers. Albert Einstein actually called it the most beautiful philosophical song existing. It's totally fascinating that some of the greatest scientific minds didn't just see it as religion, right? They saw it as foundational wisdom for the entire human experience.
And then there's this chilling moment. J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, when he witnessed the very first nuclear explosion, this moment of unimaginable, terrifying power that fundamentally changed our modern world, he didn't quote Shakespeare, he didn't quote a politician. He whispered these exact words from the Gita. "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The absolute gravitas of this text is undeniably profound.
Verse 2.23 really sets the foundation for all of this. Quote, "The soul is never born nor dies. Weapons cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it." It completely bypasses the superficial, the physical stuff, and speaks directly to the deepest, most untouched corners of the human soul.
Section 3. 3 Eternal Truths. Let's look at the core wisdom of the Gita.
So here is the first truth. You are not your body.
The Gita breaks it down by explaining that your true self, the Atman or the soul, is completely indestructible. You are not just flesh and bone. The only thing that dies is the physical vessel. What you truly are cannot be killed, it cannot drown, and it cannot decay. You have always existed.
Now, the second truth is deeply, deeply relevant to how we live and work right now. Do your duty, release the results. This is the core concept of karma yoga. The crucial point here is this: you have the right to act, you have the right to do your work, but you never have the right to the fruits of that action. Giving your absolute all to your work while completely surrendering the outcome, that is what actually frees you from the prison of anxiety.
As verse 2.47 beautifully states, you have the right to perform your duty, but never to the fruits of action. Honestly, it's the ultimate ancient antidote to our modern workplace burnout. We stress so much about the promotion, the validation, or that end-of-year review, right? But the Gita tells us to just detach from the result and pour our entire soul into the action itself.
The third truth, rise above duality. Basically, this means remaining absolutely unshaken by pain or pleasure, success or failure, honor or shame. The text actually compares a wise person to a steady lamp in a windless place, burning bright and clear, totally unmoved by the storm around it. And I really want to clarify something here because it's important. This is not about being passive. Acting as that steady lamp in the face of absolute chaos is the highest form of strength mankind has ever known.
Section 4. The modern battlefield. Let's look at our crisis today.
Because look, we are living in a devastating paradox right now. On one side, we are in the most technologically advanced era in all of human history. But on the other side, we're seeing record levels of depression, anxiety, and loneliness. It's wild when you think about it. We possess infinite amounts of information, far more than any civilization before us, but we have a desperate lack of actual wisdom.
The symptoms of this crisis are literally everywhere we look.
Anxiety disorders have tripled. We're in the middle of a global loneliness epidemic. We are endlessly chasing success but feeling totally empty inside. We collect endless possessions but feel so impoverished. Our systems are collapsing. When you step back and take all of this in, you realize something profound. Arjuna's paralyzing fear and confusion 5,000 years ago on that battlefield. That is exactly our crisis today.
Section 5. The Call to Rise. A Vision of Change.
Imagine a transformed world for a second. Leaders making decisions based purely on duty rather than greed. Parents raising children with soul-level fearlessness rather than passing down their own anxieties. Young people acting passionately, totally free from the paralysis of failing. And scientists and artists working only for truth and love. This is exactly what a society looks like when it operates entirely on duty rather than being paralyzed by the fear of outcomes.
Just reflect on this verse for a moment. Whenever righteousness declines, I manifest myself to restore it. The Gita does not promise you an easy life. It never says the battle won't happen, but it guarantees you the internal power to confront life's absolute hardest battles head-on without breaking.
I absolutely love sharing this profound experience from Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "When doubts haunt me, I open the Bhagavad Gita and find a verse to comfort me. I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrow." I mean, that perfectly demonstrates how this single conversation has moved empires, freed nations, and healed millions of broken souls.
5,000 years. Over 5 millennia, entire empires have crumbled to dust. Languages have died out completely. Whole civilizations have vanished. Yet, these truths, this philosophical song, remain standing just as strong today. Because true wisdom is eternal.
So I want to conclude this explainer by asking you this directly. You are Arjuna. You are standing at your own Kurukshetra right now, facing your own modern battlefield of anxieties and choices. Knowing that you are more than your physical body, knowing the immense power of doing your duty without attachment to the outcome, what will you do next? I challenge you to rise and find your own unshakable self. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it sparks a completely new way of looking at your path forward.